Hello, Danny here. And today I'd like to talk about why it's important for you to express yourself and how not expressing yourself could affect you down the line in your life negatively for the most part, because that's usually what happens when you retain a lot of emotions. Now I'd like to start by giving you a little story about myself, about when I was younger, and hopefully this video helps you. Hopefully you get something out of this video that could make your life a little better and a little easier by not making the mistakes that I made in the past, in my youth, which I'm still young, but when I was younger. Now, when I was younger, this is back in high school, I was, I don't like saying weird. I was different. Everybody's special in their own kind of way, so I was different. I always did this one thing that bothered me a lot. I would let a lot of things slide when I was younger. I don't know why I did that. At first, it was almost like a natural response to things. People would say a lot of mean things to me and almost like bullying me to a certain degree, but I was just let it slide. At first, like I said, it was a natural response, but the more I grew up, the more I regretted not doing anything. Because if a person is bullying you, you're gonna have to stand up for yourself at a certain point. Because trouble is always gonna come your way. You can't always run away from things, and that's basically what I did. I realized that I wasn't really letting things slide. I would just run away from them because I didn't want to face trouble. But you can't keep doing that forever. Even some of my friends back then would say things to me or would treat me a certain kind of way because there was no respect. It was almost like they didn't respect me, and this kept happening throughout the years while I was getting older. And I would feel these things. I would notice these things. When a person doesn't respect you, you could tell. So these kind of things would happen to me, but still I wouldn't say anything about these things. Now what ended up happening is throughout the years, all these emotions, they bottled up because I had them all in me. They became traumas because I felt weak to a certain degree. I felt like a person who was never able to confront his problems, and to be honest, that's really who I was. That really is who I was. And all these traumas followed me to my older years. The older I got, the angrier I got for no reason. I would get angry at people for no reason at all. Like, for example, at my job, I used to work at a valet job. I used to be a valet driver, a valet attendant. I had this boss. My boss was cool. He was a cool dude. But I noticed that sometimes he would ask me to do things like, for example, Danny, go get this car. And it's just the way he would ask me to do it, which was what he was supposed to ask me to do because he's the boss. I'm supposed to go get cars. That's my job. But I would pull him aside and ask him, like, yo, bro, like, why you gotta ask me that like that? Like, what was that about? I didn't like that. And he was like, nah, man, I'm just asking you to go get the car. And that's really what he meant. But I was so used to people just pushing me around and bullying me that I would just lash out on people. There was no reason for me to ask him that. But I did because I felt kind of weak. And I was like, nah, he's not about to talk to me like that. But he really didn't say anything wrong. And even in real life, I would just get mad at people asking me simple questions because I always felt like they were attacking me. And since I had that trauma, I was like, nah, I'm not about to let you talk to me like that. When in reality, all they asked me was a question. But but it's just the trauma that I had as a kid. I would let a lot of things slide. And this became a habit, a very toxic habit for me. And it affected people around me too, like my brother. I would get mad at my brother for no reason. And my brother is a cool dude, but I just feel attacked sometimes. And this is me at my younger age, right? I had to learn how to express myself, how to tell people how I feel. It's important. Because then if you don't, then you're gonna think about it all the times. Now I'm here to tell you how you could possibly get better when it comes to this particular thing, expressing yourself in life. Number one, what kind of person do you want to be? Who would you like to be? There's an image of you that you have in your head. You're constantly thinking about this person who you would like to be. This person, this fantasy person that you created in your mind. How do you behave when you're around people? Are you always looking down? Do you look at them in the eye? You're gonna have to make eye contact with people. You can't express yourself to the ground. He won't talk back to you. You have to look at people in the eyes and tell them how you feel. You should not let situations pass you by, especially situations you feel like you should say something. You should just go ahead and say it. Because if you feel like saying something and you don't, and you go back home, you're going to think about it. That's another trauma. And then you're going to become like me when I was younger. Because at a certain point, all these emotions and all these traumas are going to explode. And when they do, trust me, it is never good. Number two, how would you like people to remember you? And this particular part has to do with your past, right? You have to let go of your past. That's one. You gotta let it go. Forget about your past. Focus on the person you would like to be. You have to start working on yourself right now. So when you meet a new person, because every day you meet new people, and first impressions matter. You have to make sure when you meet a new person, you present them that image of you that you would like them to remember. And that image of you that you had in your head, that fantasy person, you have to bring him to life. How is that person in your mind? How do you view yourself in your mind? Are you outspoken? You will have to do that in real life. You would have to meet people. Forget about your past. Now you're meeting new people. You meet new people every day. You have to make sure they see, the best version of yourself. At this point, you're creating a different story. Life is changing for you. Your past is your past. It's okay. You did some things. You behaved a little, different. You're not proud of your past. I get it. We all have a past, but you have to focus on the now. What would you like people to remember you as? Because me, years ago, I would just be laughing at anything anyone said. I was goofy as hell. Every single time. You can't be doing that. I didn't like that about me. It got to a point where I would be laughing and talking to myself like, dude, you gotta stop laughing. This is awkward as hell. Why are you doing this? And I understand if you're a person who you've been living in a bubble, you've been part of this habit for such a long time, it's not gonna be easy. But let me tell you, it is possible to change. Everything takes time. And it is really hard because, you become depressed, especially when you don't like yourself. I was depressed a lot of times because I felt like I couldn't change. I felt like that was just me. Like I was going to be this person forever. But now I had to get myself out of that. And it's not easy, but you can do it. You have to think about your future and how you would like people to remember you. And don't think too much about your past. The past is the past. You gotta let it go. And you gotta get out of that bubble. You gotta get out of that, because it's going to affect you negatively. Like the people around you aren't gonna respect you. Like I said, like my friends didn't really respect me that much. Like, listen, it got to a point where there's one of my friends. He used to, I would ask him a question, and he used to be on his phone. Like I'm standing right in front of him and I'm asking him a question, but he would act like like I'm not there. It got to a point where I was like, listen, man, if you're gonna keep doing this, I'm gonna have to cut you off. I can't be doing this. You can't be doing this to me. When I'm talking to you, you listen to me. Because when you talk to me, I listen to you. You can't keep doing this. We can't we can't be friends if there's no respect. I had to tell him that, and he started laughing like, hey man, you gotta calm down. It's like, nah, you do this all the times. Like I be trying to talk to you, but you act like you don't listen. It's disrespectful. I had to tell him that. Now you should be able to do that too to people, wherever it is you are. If something is bothering you, just go ahead and say it. At first, if you've been living this kind of soft lifestyle for a while, at first it's gonna come out as a little emotional, but that's okay. As time goes on, you're gonna get better at it. But the point is for you to say something when it bothers you. The point is for you to speak up. Do not let people bully you. Don't let people control you. Do not let people push you around, because it becomes a habit and they're going to do it all the times because they know you're soft. They know. They look at you, you look the other way. They look at you, you look down. You talk to people, but you don't look at them in the eye. In the eyes, it's not going to help you. It almost destroyed my life. I was bitter while I was growing up. I was bitter because I felt like I wasn't getting respect from anyone, and people would just treat me like trash, because they could tell I was weak. And most of the time it's not even, you can't even blame people, because it's just the way you present yourself. They're gonna treat you like you present yourself. So if you're a little bit more respectful and you speak up, you got your chest up, you say what you feel, they're gonna give you a little more respect. It's automatic. Sometimes it just be you. It just be you and you don't even know. So yeah, listen, we're all trying. I get it, it's not easy. If you've been living this lifestyle for a minute, listen, I understand. I feel what you feel. I've been through that. But I'm here to tell you that it's possible for you to change your life. You're gonna have to let your past go. Focus on your new self, because your life isn't over. You're still here, so your life isn't over. You're gonna meet new people. Try to make new impressions. Think about everything I just told you. Try to make sure when these new people meet you for the first time, you give them the right impression. So now you're creating a different story of your life. Forget about your past. It's gone. Just start over. Now, that's my message for you today. Danny, I'm out.